Oh, your nails look nice too.
You got nice hands.
That's just natural.
Yeah, I'm jealous because I bite my nails.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's that thing.
You gotta get nails like this.
You know what I did once? I actually put chili on them for a while.
And then you're like, wait, that's kind of
Flavor
yummy.
your nails.
No.
No.
To deter you from
Yes, every time you're like, oh, that's right.
You chew them so much, you like to just have like a little flavor. Like,
Exactly.
Like sunflowers.
Maybe I didn't think it through properly.
Like sunflowers.
Dunkaroos.
That's great.
That should be a business venture.
It's a pleasure to meet
Flavor
all three of you today. It's an absolute pleasure. How difficult is it talking about this show that you can't really talk about in terms of any details? Are you constantly worried you're going to trip over? Because I would be.
I'm scared to answer this question.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, then tell me who dies and who doesn't in the show.
Okay, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Clickers.
I did see your face sink just like,
Yeah. You caught
tell me who dies and who doesn't. You were like, I'm going to have to tell him.
I did freeze for
so
a second.
nice.
You got
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Nobody dies.
Imagine being
we all
Ella
live.
Enchanted, but in a
Happily
breast
ever.
interview.
Happily ever after. So with the success of The Last of Us, these kind of worlds, zombie-like worlds, post-apocalyptic worlds, they keep drawing audiences in droves. What do you think keeps bringing us back to these kind of stories that aren't exactly light viewing?
We watch these stories to kind of put ourselves in that position, and people want to. That's the same reason I watch like Survivor and Naked and Afraid and all these kind of shows, survival types. Okay, well, what would my strategy be here? How would I source my food? How would I make some shoes to walk across the hot sands of the desert or whatever the case may be? And I think that people enjoy putting themselves in our shoes and watching these type of shows.
I think what's really amazing about The Last of Us, though, is that it takes sort of, these themes that have been done before technically, but it sort of like elevates them in a way and sort of has a tasteful placement of when the action happens. It's not just like action to keep people entertained. It's like you're following people in a story and you're not just... Everything has a reason for happening. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the modern civilization, I think civilization ebbs and flows throughout time, and there's iterations of when things go up and down, and people are feeling the slow boil of, I don't know, like maybe end-stage capitalism or something, and there's some kind of relish in seeing this post-apocalyptic world can be cathartic in some ways. Not to be too cryptic.
Yeah, absolutely. I always find that these kind of worlds, it's a good way to explore certain parallels to real life.
Yeah.
You can like delve in as much as you want, or you don't have to. You just enjoy the drama on the surface.
There's a lot of freedom in these worlds,
Yeah, exactly. Talking about Isabela, talking about Dina and Ellie, they're quite different people, but there's certain attraction, a certain magnetism that draws them together. What do you think it is that brings them together in a more emotional way than, say, other characters?
I think what's unique that I've noticed recently is sort of they both have an inability to like hide when they're interested or disinterested in something. They're both very authentic people who aren't preoccupied with making a mask and too concerned with their, with how they're perceived. And I think they find a sort of relief and comfort with each other in their relationship, and they can be silly and they can have fun and they can really make the most out of a shit situation.
And Tommy's now a dad, and on top of that, taking care of the town and juggling Ellie as well, and Joel, and everyone's different kind of, personality traits. But fatherhood in particular, how do you think that is kind of making him different in this season, especially in regards to Joel?
I think having Benjamin helps frame up what my brother was experiencing when we lost Sarah, and not that he didn't have an understanding of it before, but I think it's just much more, his views are a lot more crystallized when it comes to that. But I think there's this really sweetness too, to see him interact with Benjamin, my son, and just to see, because there's a lot that my brother can learn, or that my son can learn from my brother. He's such a, he's got such a strong spirit and resilient person, and you can see him healing, and then there's some really cool interactions between them that I think is really, really great to watch. But as far as what being a father does, I think it makes everything harder to to leave. I mean, I was saying the other day, a dad leaving his son in the morning to go work his job as an accountant is tough enough, and I think, but to leave the gates of Jackson to go out into the wild on patrol would be just exponentially more difficult. So I think it's gives him purpose, gives him the strength to fulfill his responsibilities, but also gives him so much more to lose.
Yeah, I find that's a theme throughout The Last of Us, the games and the show, is protecting and being a guardian or being a friend, but always in the vein of, not always in the vein, but often in the vein of how do we take care of the people that we actually love, even by doing the tough things. Which brings me to Jesse. He's definitely got a lot on his plate. I mean, he seems to be a reliable kind of guy, but now that he is so often a reliable person, that's kind of an expectation.
Yeah.
Do you find that to be kind of a bit of a weakness, or is it a pure strength that he has?
I mean, it could be a strength in certain situations, and it can be a tremendous weakness in other situations.
Yeah.
But I think Jesse as a character has a lot of love for the community of Jackson, because I think there was a point in time where he had nothing and no one, and to be able to get back into a sanctuary like Jackson, and understanding the value of that, I think it's like an obligation or a burden that he takes willfully, and even though he has to strive to match those expectations, he's game for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to, because these characters are all in the games, the second game in particular, did you look at the game as any kind of inspirational source, or is the script the Bible and that's about it?
The script is kind of the end-all be-all of the story, and we're fortunate to have Neil Druckmann, the creator of the game, be heavily involved with Craig in developing the story. I certainly played it to get a sense of characters and a sense of the world, and but after a while, I remember through that playthrough just kind of forgetting this research element of it and just being kind of just completely entranced by this story. And as we moved into the show, it's been so long ago since I've played them, and the lines are kind of blurred now between both of these tellings of the story, between these two mediums. So now it's just really just lean on the black and white of the page, because it's all in there, and I love being surprised in moments, just by how we're choosing to move through the story, and which pockets we're willing to go into and explore new pockets of the story.
I think the game it serves as a really great reference material, and there's an essence of that all throughout the show. But I think when you're making a film or a series, it's a director's, editor's medium, and so it takes on its own form. And I love that they expand on the show expands on characters that may not have had so much character development in the game, and so there's a really great organic push and pull between the two source materials. But I do think like Gabe said, the black and white is paramount in this.
When it comes to actually shooting some of these more intense sequences, I do appreciate, especially projects nowadays, when it's a little less CG when they can, and a little more practical when they can, especially when it comes to some of these grotesque makeup effects. Just wondering, after some of these sequences, some of these shoots, do you guys have particular processes to unwind? Do you stare at the wall for a while? Do you meditate? Is there anything, or do you just kind of sit with it? And
Yeah, no, I think it's just, the musical element of the show, and then the musical skill of the entire cast was definitely this respite, kind of this great retreat to go back to the guitar or whatever. But there was a lot of imagery that was pretty wild. I remember talking to my wife one day. I came, because there's a scene you see in the trailer where I light this dude up with a flamethrower, and I remember for a couple of weeks after that, I would close my eyes and I would see a human on fire running at me.
not something you want to have playing over and over?
It was so wild, and I told my wife this. She's like, "Yeah, baby, I think you might be traumatized." I was like, "Maybe I am." Yeah. It's because we, like Izzy was saying, I think we were talking about it. It's, the body doesn't know the difference. Doesn't know it's not real. It's just experiencing it and kind of you keep it locked in your
Right.
bones, in your mind.
Yep.
But yeah, you have to find some way to unwind, and usually for me, it's just singing songs,
Fair enough.
relaxing, fishing, playing pool.
Unfortunately, I'm out of time, but thank you all for your time and all the best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Guillermo.
you.
Good to meet you.